In this video, we will be building this classic game, Rollable. If you are new to Godot, whether you are coming from another engine or you have no background experience at all, then this video is for you. We'll also be doing comparisons between it and Unity throughout the way and explaining the terminology in Unity's terms. And we'll be building this game in less than an hour. We will be using GDScript, exploring concepts like signals, which are events, scenes, which are prefabs and levels, and tags, which are groups. And finally, we will be exploring all types of physics bodies in the engine: static body, rigid body, and character body. So let's go. Hello and welcome everyone. Let's explore Godot 4.1, an engine that is 100 megabyte that you can download really easily from the internet, that has multiple renderers, and when you switch between renderers you won't get anything pink. And best of all, it's under the MIT license, meaning there is literally no one who can control you. You can't get sued, you can't lose money when you publish your games. You can do whatever you want without anyone literally saying anything. So you go to godotengine.org, you download the latest version. By the way, there are only two versions, 3, which is very old, or 4.1, which is the newest and most recent one. So we downloaded Godot 4.1. It's 100 megabytes or so. You just download it and that's it. Secondly, we need some assets to work with. Oh yeah, by the way, what are we creating? Well, we will create one of the most classic examples in game development, and it's Rollable. So KinematicBody also provides free assets, so just download the assets and then you can donate for him and just grab it, and that's it. That's all you need, and it will download and stuff. But I already downloaded those, so once you are done, you can use it whenever you want. So let's start by creating a new project. So here is Godot. You will see this, but this one will be empty because you don't have any projects. Let's click new project. First, let's write the name of the project. Rollable v2. Let's just call it like this. Rollable. It's in documents. So, that's interesting. So we have So there are three renderers. Forward, mobile, compatibility, and but what if we want our game to work on Switch? What if we want our game to work on maybe on old platforms? What if we want it to work on Forward Plus? Then which renderer should we use? That's actually a really hard question. Oh wait, no, I was thinking about the wrong engine. Let's see it really quickly. So let's just click any one of these renderers, click create and edit, and then you will wait 10 seconds. The project has already opened. It didn't take 3 minutes. So now I'm just going to demonstrate something really magical. So there is an engine that's called Unity, and let's say you have made your game with it. Here is our game. Here is this sprite that's moving around and doing stuff. And let's save it, and I will explain all of this in a moment. But for now, let's just see the magical moment. So here is our renderer. Let's say we want to switch to mobile, the renderer that's good for mobile. Let's just click this. Save and restart. It takes 10-20 seconds, and there you go, it opened. So the magical thing that happened is that it did not go pink. Nothing broke, nothing will break, and that's just amazing. Let's say you want to go target old web platforms. Same story. Nothing will change. There is actually one minor change, and it's saying the glow doesn't work in this mode, and that's it. Everything else just works like magic. Let's go back to the forward renderer and let's start building our own game. So I'm going to delete the I'm going to delete the thing that I have just built. Let me just go ahead and delete it. Delete, remove. Okay, good. So let's see. First things first, what do we want? We want the assets that we downloaded. So after you download these assets, how do you put them in the project? You right click. So what you do is as follows. You right click, you click on Open File Manager, which opens the place where your project is in. Then you open any any software that can extract the compressed files. Then you come here. It's actually useful to put all your art in one place. So I'm gonna create a new file, call it AA underscore art. So I'm gonna create a directory and name it AA art. Why do I name it like this? Simply because it's a naming convention I like. Why? Let's see. If we go back to Godot, let's see, like the file, the directory just becomes on top when I give it the AA. And that's it really, like it has no other meaning. So here is so what we do now is really simple. We just take the PNGs, put them there, take the tile sheet, put it here in the AA art directory. Then let's just take these 3 extra files, which are a sample, a preview, and the license. Let's just close it. Let's go back in Godot. It will take like, I don't know, like how long it took, like 3 seconds, and that's it. So here is the text, all of the information, the license and stuff. Here are the PNGs that you can use for your liking. So in here, you get all your files. If you place some audio files, you get it in here. If you place some art, you get it in here. So let's explore the editor a little bit. So in Godot, you can create 2D and 3D games. If you want to create a 2D game, you go to 2D, 3D, you go to 3D, script, you go like, oh wait, scripts, yeah, you don't actually need an external scripts editor like Visual Studio or whatever. You can just modify these scripts directly inside of Godot, and that's just fantastic. So asset lib, a place where you can download some assets and stuff, but like, yeah, we won't use any of those. So the tabs we will use today are 2D and script. So let's begin now by building our level. On the left side, we have this, like on the left side, we have this. Let's click, what are we creating? Are we creating 3D things? No, we're creating a 2D game. Let's just click the 2D. So it said not 2D. Now, what is this? Like, what are we going to build? Let's start by building the first level. So we'll call it level underscore 00. Let's click Ctrl S, or we go to scene, then save scene, and it will ask us to save the scene. Let's save it. By the way, like you'll see that the node name is capital L, and the scene name or the file that got saved is starting with a small letter L. So for all files that we will create, in here, like in the file system, they should be basically lowercase. Like they should be basically lowercase. It's basically the convention of Godot. That's how we name things, and it's always best to just use the convention. So let's continue. What do we want? We want to create the sprite. Like let's just drag and drop. We have this image that came with the project, and there we go. There it is. We have this now. Let's say we want to create like 2 walls. By the way, we are creating a ball game. So let's just create 2 walls really quickly. I pressed Ctrl D to duplicate it, and it's been duplicated. Let's click play. And here we have the play button. It says basically the first time we click it that there is no scene, like it doesn't know which level to start. Let's say select current. It will start the level we are in. So here it is. Let's take very close look. And here there is a purple line in here, green, purple. So this is the viewport of our game. So let's just keep it like this. So this is what we see. Anything outside of this square, we can't see it. Of course, we can add a camera. By the way, let's just drag it and drop it here. Let's come here and look. It showed up. Let's just drag it to the left, and it's like this. It updates. In any case, let's see now, what do we want? We don't want to use these nasty sprites. Like, yeah, they don't look very good. So let's just delete this and delete this. And let's go and pick some neat art. So we have our art. Let's see. So what do we want? We want 3 walls. So let's see. By the way, you can see like it's hard to see the look of the sprites like this. Let's make it a little bit easier. We can click on this. We can click on this now, and we can just like make it smaller, make this one a little bit bigger. Now we can see them more easily. We can return them to this, but yeah, now we can see them more easily. So let's just investigate and take a look really quickly at the sprites that we can use. Okay, so I just finished selecting sprites, and here we go. We have these 4 sprites that we can use. Let's just drag them outside of the view. Let's make this smaller, let's make this smaller, and we return to the default view very easily. So let's just close these. So let's just try and think really quickly. What else do we need? We also need something for the player, like roll a ball. Like we want the player to roll. There is a very cool sprite that I also found that I didn't drag and drop, and here it is. It's called trap. Here it is. This will be our player. This will be our player. So let's just put it in the center. Let's just drag this one. Let's say, do we want this one to be our wall? Yeah, let's make this one as our wall. So let's just do this. Let's do this. Now let's start the game. Now when we run the game, nothing is there. By the way, this trap is small, so I'm gonna look for another trap that's larger. Yeah, there we go. That's the good trap. Okay, let's close it. So let's see now. So we have this trap sprite. If we start the game again, yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. We want this to move. How can we move it? Let's think really quickly. Movement equals physics. Whenever you hear movement in game engines or whatever, always think of physics. By the way, how am I moving between the scene? If I hold the middle of the scroll wheel, if I hold the scroll wheel and move, we can move. If I scroll in, I zoom in, scroll out, zoom out, simple stuff. So let's see. Physics means movement. Let's see. So if we click on the plus icon, we will find so many things. We don't care about most of them. Like you have navigation, you have multiplayer and stuff. We want 2D. So we go to 2D, collision object, physics. Now we have 3 types of bodies. Static means like a wall. Character means like a character movement, like something that's very useful for characters. Rigid body is something like for the physics related movements. We will actually explore both of these, but for a start, let's just get the movement done like as quickly as possible. Let's click CharacterBody 2D. It has been added. It has a warning. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, we need to add a collision shape. So let's add a collision shape. That's something really good about Godot. Like it will tell you what's wrong. Like sometimes for these commonly repeated tasks that are easily missed, like it will tell you what's wrong. Now, the other thing, we added the collision shape, but we don't have a shape for it. That's weird. Now let's think really quickly about what we did. We defined the physics of movement, which is CharacterBody. So which is the movement, like the thing that will handle the movement. Now, also, we defined the collision shape 2D, which is like the collider. It's like we said, hey, we have an object that moves and it has a collider. But what is the shape of the collider? We assign it on the right side. So let's look at the right side. This is the inspector. So let's click on the shape. Here is shape. Click. We have so many shapes. It can be a rectangle, it can be a circle, it can be whatever. I want for the player to be a circle. Okay, good. So now we have a circle. Now you can see we have this very small circle. What is our player? This is the sprite of our player. Let's drag it and drop it inside, and we can see we have the player. But they are very far. If you used another game engine before, let's see. On here we have the inspector. We can move. Let's see if we move it. Now, this one moved to the right a little bit, but this one moved like it doesn't match. It doesn't match. When this one moves like this. But we want them to be on top of each other. It doesn't make sense for the sprite or the picture of the player to be on here while the physics body is in here. Imagine if there's a wall here and we collide with it, then it doesn't make sense. It won't look right. So how do we fix that? We go to this sprite itself or the picture, transform this one. This one means revert to the default value. Now it reverted to the default value, which is 0, 0. Let's click on the character and we see the collision shape vanished. Why is that? Because Godot doesn't draw things randomly. It displays things in an ordered fashion. So the things on top will be displayed first, and then the things on the bottom will get drawn later. So first we will draw this, then we will draw this, then we will draw this, and so on. What does this mean? This means that this wall is now on top of this. If we change the order, look, now that one is on top. If we change the order again, this one is on top. So how do we fix this problem? We want the collision shape to be visible. We drag, drop, there we go. Collision shape is visible again. How do we make the collision shape bigger? Your first thought might be to go to transform and make it bigger. Now sure, it did become bigger, but no, that's wrong. What you should be making bigger is this small circle. Click on it, and now it became bigger. Why is that? You see, the scale is still 1, but the shape grows bigger or smaller. So what are we changing? We are changing the shape. Okay, good. So what is this now? This one will be our ball. So here is our ball. Now let's click on this one and move our ball like this by clicking and moving it. Hit play. Good, like we added all of that, but the player can't move, like there is no movement. How can we add movement? Very simple, very quickly. Click on the plus icon. It said ball, like it says ball, like the ball script. Essentially, this button means this. If we click a node and then click on this button, it will create a new script. It will create a new script. Let's use the naming convention that is a part of the best practices and name it as a small letter B, which is ball. And then here we can choose the language. Godot supports GDScript, C+, and the C#. But I used the plain version, so I only have GDScript, and that's what I want to use really. Like 99% of the times, or at least most of the times, you probably should be using GDScript. In any case, let's hit create. Oh, you see, we moved automatically to the script tab, and we already have a script. Like Godot filled the script for us, a template. That's very good. Let's click play. Whoops, the player is moving down. Good, still good. Now we are moving down. Now what is it that we want? We don't want to move down. This is a top-down game, so we don't need gravity. So let's look at the variables. Let's look at the variables really quickly. So first we have jump velocity. We're not going to be jumping, so we don't care about it. Here's the gravity. Let's remove the gravity. How do we add comments? By the hashtag. Hashtag is the comment. So we just added a comment. Now it says there is an error, like we are trying to change the velocity, but the gravity is not defined. Why is that? Because we deleted the gravity. We made it a comment. Let's just delete it entirely. We don't need it. Okay, what else is there? Let's look here. It says is on floor. Where did this is on floor come from? It came from CharacterBody 2D. So let's just we don't have gravity, so there is nothing to add. Let's just remove it really quickly. Let's now start the game. Now we're not falling down, but we are moving left and right. Perfect. Okay, let's look now at another thing. So we have a jump velocity. So what does the jump velocity do? It's for jumping, but we don't have jumping. Remove it as well. Now in here we should get an error because there is no longer a jump velocity. So let's just delete all of that. Now let's just run the game and see. Okay, good. So we have movement, but we can't move up and down. How can we move up and down? It's actually really simple. First, let's try an experiment. If I click A or D, I will not move left and right. So let's start by defining the A and D and make them move us left and right. Project settings, input map. It's empty. We don't have any input. Actually, that's not true. There are many built-in actions. Click this and the built-in actions have showed up. How do we define inputs in Godot? We define them by actions. Here is the action name. Let's go, for example, let's see, what action do we have? We have UI lift. Let's search for the UI lift. There we go, there it is, the UI lift, and it uses the left arrow, joypad button, and joypad axis. Yeah, but let's say we want to add the A button. We click on the plus, then you can select it manually and search for it, or you can come here, click A, and now there you go. It automatically selected the A. You just click OK. Now let's look. So UI left, it has A. UI right should have D. Let's click OK. Now we have D. Now if we close and start the game, if I click A, I move left. D, I move right. Good. Now what is it that we want? Let's also define the up and down. Up should be W. Down should be S. it already has the down arrow and the up arrow, so nothing for us to change in there. But if we start the game and try to move up and down, nothing will happen because we didn't update the code. So let's update the code. How are we going to do that? Let's just take this entirely, add a new line, click paste. Now we got an error. Why is that? Because Godot is built for indentations. We don't have curly braces. We don't have a semicolon at the end of a line. No, we have indentation. So we have the script at the very top, no indentation, then some variables, then the function, and then how do we know that the code below is inside of a function? Well, we know because it's indented by one level. So everything that's indented by one level is inside of the function. There is an error here. Why? Because we have two indentations, and that doesn't make sense. Like this is inside of the function. Then is this inside of what? Like it's two indentations, but we are inside of the function, so we go one level to the right. But this one is two levels, so that's the error. So let's just remove it. Now we have another error, and it says there is already a variable named direction, and that's actually a good point. Now what direction is this? This is the X direction. So let's just change this to X direction, change this to X direction, and I think, oh, and we also need to change this one to X direction. Okay, good. Now what direction is this? This is going to be the Y direction. Let's change this to Y direction and change this to Y direction as well. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, we should also change this one to Y direction. Now we have the Y direction. Good. But let's take note. Input.getAccess. Now the input.getAccess will get the whether we are pressing the up and down or not. But let's see, does it search for the up and down? No, it searches for left and right. So let's just make it search for the up and down, and that's it. Now if we just start the game, if I click up, nothing. Down, nothing. Left, right, it still works, so that's good. Now let's think a little bit. Why is that happening? Velocity is two parts. Like this object will move left and right or up and down. Now let's see. X means left and right. Y means up and down. So this one changes the X. So let's go with Y. We change this to Y. Now we move up and down, left and right, and it's working like magic. Perfect. So we already have some movement, but if we do this, now there is an error. We can't collide. So let's fix our collisions. How? Now we added a collider in here, but why don't we collide with the walls? That's actually also really simple. The walls are a sprite. The wall is a sprite. The wall is not an object. It's not a static. Like collisions mean physics. Did we add anything physics related here? No. So let's add something physics related. So what bodies do we have? Here is the collision thing. So let's search for physics thing. And physics thing has three things. It's called static body, which means like it says something complicated, but basically it's static. It doesn't move. So a wall basically. So let's just click on add it. An error again. It says like we added the body, which we defined like, yeah, it's an physics object that doesn't move, but it doesn't have a collider. So let's add a collider. It's not actually called a collider. It's called the collision shape 2D. So we have the collision shape, but we also don't have the, we don't have the shape yet. So let's add a shape. That one was a circle. This one should probably be a capsule. Yes, a capsule looks right for the wall. Of course, I'm just kidding. The right shape is probably a box or a square. Let's see. Wow, we don't have it. Oh, there it is. It's a rectangle. Yeah, there it is. But the wall is like misplaced. So how can we fix it? Simple. Drag this, drop it. And now we can see like here is the object. Here is this collider. Like we can do this and this, and but the collision shape is hidden behind the wall. So let's fix it. We can do this, and yeah, but let's take a note of something. When we make children, they should always be at 0, 0. Let's see, the static body is at 0, 0. Now let's check out the sprite. It's not at 0, 0. So let's return it. Oh, it came here. So let's come here. Let's come here. Oh, this one is not under 0, 0 as well. So let's fix it. Now it's at 0, 0. Good. Perfect. So what is this called? This is just called a wall piece. A piece of the wall. Now let's just remove this pointless one. Now let's see if we can actually collide or not. We're moving and we hit it. We collided. We can't pass through it. So let's just move it. We click on this and we can move anything. Now let's click this and yeah, we can't pass through it. Now let's say we want to make some group of walls. We can do this, do this, do this, do this. But let's say we want to change the color of one of them. I mean, the color of all of them all at once. Now, what's going to happen? We will have to come here, change the first piece, change the second piece, but that will take very long, and that's bad. We don't want repetitive processes. We want one unified process that will change them all. And how can we do it? Now, in Unity, this is called a prefab. In here, it's called a scene. Everything we built so far are just a group of nodes. Nodes are like a game object. And it's thrown into a scene. That's how the terminology of Unity. But for Godot, it's a scene, and inside of it are nodes. Now, how do we create a prefab? Well, we create a prefab by right-clicking. Like, we have a group of nodes, and we want those three to become a prefab. Right-click, save branch as scene. It's called wall piece. Save it. There we go. Now we have this one. You can see it's like you can no longer expand it. Why is that? Because now it's a prefab, or it's actually not called a prefab. It's actually called a scene in here. Now you'll note something. Our level has the same extension as our wall prefab. So our level is a scene and our prefab is also a scene. And yes, that's actually true. We use the same structure for both in Unity. So a scene can be a level and a scene can be a prefab. And how do we distinguish between these two? It's actually really simple. You just create a new folder, call it prefabs, create a new folder, call it levels, and you put the levels in the levels, you put the prefab in the prefabs folder, and that's it. But let's use Godot's terminology. It's not called prefabs, it's called scenes. So scenes are like the equivalent of a prefab. And levels, which are also scenes, like I know, like it is sounding really complicated, but when you use it, it's really intuitive. So let's just keep working along instead of explaining the theoretical stuff. So we have our level, which is inside of levels, and we have our scene, which is like a prefab, and that's all that matters. So now if we come here, we just duplicate. So if we come here and just duplicate this, and you see, like, I am basically doing it at eye level, and that might not be very accurate, as you can see. So don't we have a grid? Let's see. Do we actually have a grid? Yes, we do. It's Shift and G, or this button. You click on it. There you go. You have our grid. And if you click on this one, then we have smart snapping. You see? Yeah, there they are. These cool lines. And cool. So let's just create a wall really quickly that's very much on the same level. So we have these three. Here is this, and our wall is almost complete. Let's just create one more side, and let's click play, and boom, we have our wall. Perfect. But like you can see, our hierarchy got cluttered, so let's clean it up. Right click, add child, node 2D, call it top wall. Click like this, and there we go. Oh, the name is bad, so let's do this. Yeah, there we go. Good name. So now we can just move it like this a little bit, and let's hit play. Yeah, that's looking good. So let's do this and call it bottom wall. By the way, let's fix the problem that we said. We wanted to change the color of one of them. Let's first just move the wall down, and let's see. Smart snapping is helping us. It helped us here. So let's just start now, and there we go. We have our walls. This one should just probably be a little bit more down, and that's very good. So yeah, we wanted to change the color. Double click, change the color here. Oh yeah, you can see now we have 2 tabs. Let's just change the color for one of them. Visibility, modulate, give it some pink, or I'm not sure, whatever this color is. Purple, yeah, let's start the game. Oh, so I guess it's red. By the way, it's different in here than in here because our collision shape is on the top and our collision shape is blue. We can do this and now we can see the proper color. Let's save, return. There you go. But this color is hurting my eyes, so I'm just going to go with the default color, which is white. That's perfect. So let's create 2 more walls, which are the left and right. The easiest way would be to just rotate. So let's rotate. So I clicked the rotate tool. Here it is. I selected this new duplicate and I'm gonna name it left wall. Left wall. Let's move, and there we go. Let's just move it a little bit down. Let's just put it here, and there we go. Let's now move this, and this one should be our right wall. There we go. So right wall, perfect. Start the game. Wow, now we have a proper environment with proper collisions. That's perfect. Let's now go ahead and create a pickup. So let's just search for some sprite. Yeah, plants. I liked this sprite when I was checking them out previously. If we start the game now and move, you can see that nothing happens. So how do we collect pickups? Let's think really quickly. We have our ball, which moves. What we want is that once our ball intersects with these plants, we capture them, we pick them up. We don't collide with them, we don't hit with them, you know. So like for example, for the wall, we hit the wall. In here, we don't want to hit them. We don't want it to affect our movement at all. We just want the moment we cross their body for them to vanish and to give us an extra score. So how can we do that? This is actually also handled by physics. Yeah, almost everything is physics. So let's go back. Click on the plus, node 2D. Expand collision objects, expand physics bodies. Now you can see we have static character, which is movement, rigid body, which is like something that responds to gravity and pushing and pulling and that type of thing. What is area 2D? Area 2D is just intersection. Basically, when you intersect with this area 2D, something happens. That's essentially what you are saying. Let's click on it. So we have a physics node that's called area 2D, but it doesn't have a collider. It doesn't know its region, like the intersection ranges where things can intersect with it. So how do we fix that? Again, either you click this or you click this, and then you say collision shape. Again, which is the collider. Now we need to give it a shape. I want to give it a circle. Now let's just move our plants and then come here. Let's remember, reset it to 0. This is very important. But we can't see our plants. So how can we fix that? It's really simple. Just drag it and drop it. Make sure you moved the top. You did not move this. You did not move this. You moved this. You click on this. You move this one. How can you make sure you did the right thing? You go inside, you see this one 0. You see this one 0. So let's see. How can we expand and make it bigger? The collider. Here is the collider. Yeah, there we go. It's now bigger. So now, pickup. Our pickup is a prefab. So let's make it a prefab. Let's make it a prefab. So right click, save branch as scene, scenes, pickup, save. There we go. We have our second prefab. Why did we do? Basically, like as a rule of thumb, if you're new to game development and you didn't even use Unity before, but everything that you need to make copies of, you should make it a prefab. We don't want one pickup in our game. We want many pickups. We want to have many pickups in our game. And so, since we want many pickups in our game, that means the pickup should be a prefab. So let's just start the game, move, and nothing is happening. Yeah, so even though we crossed them, why is that? Because we didn't update it. Now, let's click on the plus icon in here, and it created a new script for us. It says it wants to place the script in scenes directory. We don't want that. We want to place it like, let's just place it here, I guess. Yeah, let's just place it here. So create. Now we have our pickup. We should probably create a new directory and call it scripts, and there we go. Now you see there is one problem. The other pickups didn't get the modification that we did, which is adding the script. This one has the script, you can see the icon, but the others don't have the script. How can we fix that? Well, we didn't apply it to the prefab. How can we apply the change to the prefab? First, we revert to original state, which is empty, no script. Then you go inside of the prefab by clicking on this icon, or by going here and double clicking in here, and then you just do the following: pick up, and drag it and drop it, close, save, level. Now all of them have this script. Good. Let's actually go back inside of the level. Let's go actually inside of the, not the level, the prefab. Let's go to 2D view. There we go. So let's go to node. Let's go to node outside of the inspector. So in here we have many events. So when an area enters, let's think a little bit. When do we want to hide this? We want to do this when the player enters the area. Okay, then what is the player? Is the player an area? No, so we don't care about these four. Is the player a body? Yes, so it's one of these four. So this one is like body shape, like like we don't care about the shape. We just want to know whether the body of the player has entered or not. So this one screams basically once it enters. Let's double click on it. So now we basically need to, we need to make sure we are inside of our prefab. Here we are inside of our prefab. Now when we double click on this, we get three options. If we are in the level and we double click on this, we get many options. That's not something we want. We want to apply changes to prefab. So double click here, and now it tells us this event or signal, as it's called in Godot. So this signal is fired up on a script. So where is the script? Oh, the script is on the same node. So let's just double click here, and there we go. We have a new function automatically added. Let's now just do print body.name. Let's just do this. Ball. It printed the name ball. Perfect. That's perfect. How can we know the thing that entered is the player or not? We can say if body.name is ball, then we print the name. But what if we have other shapes, like for example a ship, and we want the ship to be also a player? Then this code will fail. Otherwise, or we can just come here and say ship, but that's just like bad, you know, like we shouldn't do that. There is a way where we can add tags. So for example, our ship and our ball can both be players by simply giving them the tag player. How can we add a tag? We go to the level, we select our ball, we go to the node again, we go to groups, and you just write player, and that's it. Now you can see we have a dot in here and it says player. By the way, in Godot, you can add more than one tag. You can add multiple tags. Now, if you hover, it says ball and player. Here are these two tags. So, they're not called tags, they're called groups. So, if body.is, so let's go back inside of the pickup. And if body.is in group, what is the group? It's the player group. Then simply print body.name. Hit play. Now let's see. It's printing this again. But let's not print this. Let's say we detected player group. Start. There we go. So we detected the player group. So now let's start by considering and thinking about how do we add. Oh, actually, let's just clean up the scene a little bit. So now let's think about adding scores. How can we add a score? Let's just add a label. Let's go to visibility, modulate, give it the black color. Let's say score. Let's hit play. Now we can see our score at the very top. That's perfect. But if you used Unity in the past, you will quickly realize that this shouldn't work properly. In fact, let's just click the plus and add a camera and add it inside of the player and make sure it's at 0, 0. Now if we hit play, nothing changed, but if we move, you can see the score moves with the player. So yeah, that's not good. So let's fix that. How can we fix that? You click the plus, you add a canvas layer, you drag and drop, you hit play, and there you go. It's stuck now to the, it's now stuck. Let's call it like this, game UI. We called it game UI. Good. But the font is very small. How can we make it bigger? You actually select the label, label settings, new label settings. You click in here, this one opens, you go to font, and let's just try 30, 50. Let's just go with 80 because why not? Oh no, that's way too big. And let's just pick the maybe yellow. Yellow is nice, I think. Oh yeah, I changed it in the wrong place. Yeah, there we go. It's yellow. So, oh yeah, we wanted it to be smaller, and now there we go. Perfect. But of course, like the level is quite ugly outside of the viewport, so I'll remove the camera. So technically, we didn't need to add the canvas layer for this specific game, but for any other game, when you create UI, you should probably add a canvas layer. Good. So now what do we want? We want two things to happen. First, when we cross the plants, we want them to vanish, and then we want to update our score. So let's just do this, duplicate it, call this one score label, call this one as score val. Now let's just move this a little bit to the right side, give it a number of weird number or something. Now what do we want to do? Let's come here and click the plus to add a script. Game UI. Oh, it's going inside of levels. We don't want that. We want it inside of scripts. So create. Good. So let's see. This one is basically process, which is like update function, which runs every frame. And now let's see, what do we have? We want to update this score. How can we update this score? Well, it's actually really simple. So we need to update this one. Click on it. Then click on control, then drag, then let go, and we have this newly created line. Now, score val dot text equal, let's say 0. Let's look at this scene. This is it. Now, when we start the game, oh, it's 0. That's what we wanted. But if we remove this line, when we start the game, it's 0, 2, 3, 4, and whatever that was. So that's what we wanted to do. Now when the game starts, we update the score. But that's not all we want. Like, we want the pickup, here it is, to update our like game UI. So how can we do that? That's interesting. Actually, first I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna call this one game control, and I'm gonna change this script name to also game control. Perfect. So now it's called game control. So what do we want to do now? Let's think a little bit. We want the pickup to talk to the game control. How can we find the game control? There is actually a really easy way. You go to node, you go to groups, you give it a group, call it game control. Actually, let's go game controller if we want to do it like the Unity 4, Unity 5 way, a very old way to do it. In any case, that's a really neat way. It's actually not bad, like for a simple game like this, a game jam game or rollerball thing, like it's more than enough. So how can we find this one? So we know the tag of the game control. We know the tag of the game control. It's basically Come on, it's basically game controller. So what can we do? We can say get tree dot get first node in group. What is the name of the group? It's game controller. Now let's just store it someplace. Game control. Now let's just print game control dot name. Let's just print game control dot name. Let's click. See, it's printing the name of the game control. Perfect. Now what else do we need to do? We want to update our score. How do we do that? Game control dot update score. So let's see. Add score. Let's call it add score. Let's click plus. Let's hit. Oh, we got an error. Why is that? So game control doesn't know anything about game add score. Why is that? Well, we didn't create the function. So let's do that. Func add score. By the way, pass means like an empty line that you can fill later. That's it, really. So it's like here is this empty line, and yeah, that's it. So we have an empty line. That's essentially it. So we want to add the score. How can we do that? First, we need to know what is the current score, and then we need to add 1 to it. So var current score is 0. So we can say current score is equal to current score plus 1. Print new score is print current score. Let's hit play. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, but this one doesn't vanish and this one doesn't update the UI. Before we do these two things, let's first print both of these on the same line. Now this will not work. This one will not work. Let's just try and see it. There you go. It says you can't add a string to an integer. Why is that? This is a number. This is a text. You can't add a text to a number, but you can turn the number into a text. So now this is a text, adding a text to it, so it just like adds the text. There you go. New score is 1, 2, 3. There you go. Perfect. So now instead of printing, we want to update this score. Let's see how can we do it. Score val dot text is equal to current score, but we need to mutate it or turn it into a text. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. What else do we need to do? Let's think a little bit. We need to stop printing the game control name. That's for sure. We also need to destroy ourselves. So queue free. That's essentially how we do it. This just destroys the this one will destroy the node. Let's see. Oh, it got destroyed again. But the game doesn't end. We want to show a you win UI. So how can we do that? Let's think a little bit. So in game control, we should know how many pickups are there in the entire scene. We should know how many pickups are there. How can we do that? The easiest way, again, just use groups. You click on this, you come here, we are in the scene. If you can't do like you can just double click in here and then go to node and then come here, and now you can just say pickup. This is the pickup tag. That's it. So we save and close. We return here. See, now the icon changed. That's good. So it has the pickup tag. Now inside of this, now we want to know how many pickups are in this scene. How can we do that? It's very simple. Very, very simple. So var total pickups count 0 at the very start of the game. So how can we find the total pickups count? It's really simple. So total pickups count is equal to, these are tagged, so we can find just all of these. So get 3 dot get node. Let's see, what do we have? Get node count. Does this work? Let's see. What does this one do? By the way, documentation is built inside of Godot. You can left control click, like control click on the left side, then left click on the mouse. Now you have get node count. No, it doesn't return the number of the pickups. Like, let's just test it out and see. Print total pickups count. Run. No, that's definitely wrong. So yeah, that's not it for sure. Let's see, what other way do we have? Dot get underscore group. Let's search. So we have nodes in group or the first node. Let's get all nodes in group. What is the group name? Pick up inside of this group. Now we will get an error. Let's run. What does it say? It actually didn't. That's interesting. Yeah, so that's because it's dynamically typed. So yeah, let's just do it like this, and now let's run. It gave us an error right now, and that's good. But let's just continue. Ignore this sign. It's for static typing. In any case, let's actually continue, and so you can see the problem with this code. Let's just continue as if it's correct. So because essentially it's partially correct. Let's see. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So essentially you have all pickups. But this is not their count. This is an array, okay? And we will see what that means in a moment. So when do we win the game? If the current score is equal to the number of the total pickups count. So if current score is greater or equal to what? To the total pickups count. What do? We print you win. That's it. Start the game. Run. Now we did get the error. Why is that? It says we can't compare an integer, which is a number, to an array. If you go to the output, this is an array. Now this didn't give us the count, the number of the pickups. This gave us all of the pickups. This gave us like all of the pickups. This one literally grouped all of these into a single array, like grouped them into a single place and sent it to here. But we don't want all of them. We want only their number. So we can say dot size and let's run. There you go. Now it says 7 instead of that weird thing. Now if we run, come on. 5, 6, 7. You win. Perfect. Let's see now. We are almost there. We don't want to show a you win screen. Instead, we want to show a UI that says you win. So let's just duplicate this label. Let's go back to the inspector and say you win. But if we start the game now, you can see like it's at the very top of the screen. It's sorta like, yeah, it doesn't look good. Let's make it look a little bit better. So add child node. Let's see. So let's just delete this. Control. These are some UI elements and stuff. Let's just add. What are we going to add? I really don't know. I have no idea. I didn't think it. Let's just add a label. I mean a panel. Let's click this. Let's just expand it through the entire screen. Let's just hit play. Perfect. It's almost correct. Move it like this. Good. It covers the entire screen. But we don't want it to cover the UN. We want the UN to be on top. So now UN is on top. Perfect. So now what is this? UN screen. UN basically. Okay, good. So now what do we want? We want to show the UN. Actually, let's just put it like this. Now let's see. Yeah, now it works. So we just put it inside. Now let's name this one UN panel. Hide, show, the eye icon. So yeah, that's how you do it. You hide or show. Perfect. Now if we start the game, it's like this. So let's hide the UN panel at the very start of the game. How can we do that? Well, first we need this. How can we get it? Click, left click, drag it. Then remember, click control, left control. Now let go and you have the UN panel. Now there you go. You have the UN panel. So on ready, like which is the start function, you can say UN panel dot, let's see, visible equal false. Is it visible? No, it's not visible. Perfect. So in here, what do we do? Instead of printing UN, we can say UN panel dot visible is also equal to true. How did we know that the name is visible? Well, let's see. So in here, we hover over it. It says toggle visibility. If you do that, it says one change. Expand. Hover over it. This is the property. Come here. Click. So yeah, that's the property. Now, hover over it. It says property. And then in bold, and it has like an underline under it, it says visible. And let's look here. This is exactly how we wrote it in here. So that's how we do it. So now we won. Now, after we won, let's say we want to restart the game after 3 seconds. How can we do that? What we need is a timer to restart the game. So how do we create a timer in Godot? Like you can say like var timer equal 3, then use the update function, which is also, it's not called update, it's called process. And then you can say some code timer equal timer minus delta. If timer is less than 0, then restart the game. Okay. But you also need to make sure that the current score, if like you also need to make sure if the current score, that's one complicated way to go about it. And here you just say print restart level. For example, we will see the line that is responsible for restarting the level later, but this is how we create a timer. But that's not the style that we want to use. We want to use it the Godot way, the simple way, the easy way. Click here, click the plus icon. Let's see, there is a timer node, so just click on it. And now, what is the timer? How long? 3 seconds. Is it a one shot or does it loop? No, it's a one shot. Does it start automatically at the start of the game? No, we should start it like manually when we win. So after we win, we start the timer. That's it. Okay, so remember the events. You click on the timer. You click on the node. You click on signals. It says time out when it finished. Double click. You can select any script, but let's be careful. Where is this one? Why? Because we are in the scene. So let's see, where do we want this timer? Where do we want this timer to work? We want it to work on the game control. So here is the game control. Connect. It's connected. Now this timer is connected to the game control. We do this. Let's just let's just keep it here. The function is here. So how do we restart the level? Print restart level. Let's see if it's gonna work. And I don't want to keep collecting these pickups like a lot of times. Let's just do this. UN 1, 2, 3. Wow, it's not working, I guess. Whoa, we forgot to actually start the timer. How do we start the timer? It's also very similar. Drag, hold control, drop. There we go. The timer is now inside of our script. So timer dot start. That's it. 1, 2, 1. Now let's wait for 3 seconds and restart level. Perfect. So how can we restart the level? Get 3 dot. Let's see. Is there restart? No, there is no restart. Change scene. Okay, so how can we restart the level? We write get 3 dot. Let's just write scene and see what options do we have. We have reload current scene, unload current scene. Oh, this one actually works. Reload current scene. Very simple. Start the game. 1, 2, and restart. There you go. We have a game. And now these are essentially the rules of Godot, but the background is somewhat ugly. So how can we fix it? Let's just you can just add like the easiest way would be to just add some sprite behind everything. Oh, there it is. And now just drag and drop it like this. And yeah, this looks sort of good. And now if we start the game, looks somewhat fine, but painful to the eye a little bit. So let's do this, change the color a little bit, give it some orange, and maybe that's good. Okay, that's fine by me. These plants, these pickups are boring because they don't move. Let's give them some movement. How can we move them really easily? Animation player. Let's give them an animation. So here is the animation. Let's create a new animation. Let's call it spin. So we created a new animation from here. Now, what do we want to modify? We want to, let's just take this sprite. We want this sprite to simply like rotate. So how can we make it rotate? There is a rot key, rotation. Yeah, there it is. So let's just click record. Actually, let's just click record. Now it's recording all changes. So transform. We need to create the keys. We just created the keys. Now we can just do this. Remember recording, then create keys. Now 45 seconds. Create keys again. Let's see now. 275 keys one more time. And now let's just say plus 90 keys again. And let's just see the animation. There you go. So autoplay. So it plays at the very start. And now this is the duration of the animation. Let's make it 0.8. And finally, the last thing that we need is to make this animation loop. And how can we do that? I'm pretty sure there was an option here, but I forgot where it is. Oh, there it is. Animation looping. Now start the game. There you go. There you go. So I think that's a very poor animation, but why not? Why not? But there is like one last thing we need to do. So this ball doesn't actually roll. How can we make it roll? So remember what I said, the CharacterBody 2D doesn't actually obey physics. You have to fake the physics. You have to make your own physics and stuff. So what is it? What is an easy way to make the ball rotate when we collide with something like physics? Physics generally just do that on their own. So we go here, node. Wow, there should be physics body 2D, rigid body. There we go. We created a rigid body. Let's create a rigid ball. Let's call it like this. Let's give it these sprites. Let's also, we need to remember to make the positions as 0. So let's do it like this. Let's give it some unique color. Visibility, modulate. Let's go with this color. That's purple, I guess. Now, if we start the game, this ball fell. But you can see, yeah, something is weird with it. Okay, it doesn't have a script, so that's why it doesn't move. Let's just create a new script. Let's call it rigid ball. The script should be inside of scripts. Create. Now that's perfect. Now how can we move our rigid body 2D? Well, let's go with this ball. Let's name this one to rigid ball. Take all of this code, put it here. Now let's see, there are errors. It says there is no velocity. Why is that? But here there is no error. Well, here is the answer. So CharacterBody 2D comes with its own velocity built in. This one doesn't come with its own velocity. So just say velocity equal vector2 and that's it. So we define the velocity. We also don't have a move and slide function. How do we move? We move through physics. So we apply a force. So this one is not a velocity. Now it's called a force. So let's change this to a force. Let's also like get rid of this player. How can we get rid of this player? We can just delete him, but that means we need to rework like the structure again. But what if we want to change between the players on the fly? Well, there is a very simple way. You make this a prefab and you drop it in whichever level you want. So let's make this a prefab, save, it's done. Let's just delete it. Now let's also save branch as seen, rigid ball, save, and it's also done now. So that's it really. So let's just start the game now. Oh, it fell. But it's sort of rotating now when we try to move. Why did it fall? Because we have a gravity scale. Let's see. We go inside. We have the gravity scale. We set it to 0. We don't want any gravity. Let's save. Let's return to our level. Now, if we start, let's see. I moved. And you can see I left the button and it continued moving. But we don't want that. We want it to slow down when we let go of the button. So we go to linear, we give it some damping. Let's say 5. And let's also increase this one to maybe 800. Let's make this one a little bit faster. So let's see. Oh, did I increase this one? Yes, I did. So let's just see. Let's just do this 3000, you know, because why not? Yeah, there we go. So it's doing this. Oh, now you can see when we collide with the walls, we spin. And it's kind of funny, kind of cool. But why can't we collect this thing? Why? Why can't we collect them? Well, there is a very tiny issue. And it's... Let's see. So we forgot to assign the group for this to be a player. Now, sure, we collide with this rigid body. Okay, the pickup collides with this rigid body, but is it in the group of player? This is the benefit of using tags. Now just hit play. We are now collecting every single thing and we have just one. Okay, perfect and good work. And that's pretty much all about this spinnable game. So yeah, that's how easy it is in Godot. It's a very powerful engine. Like within an hour, you essentially now have a game under your own hands. Like the names are a little bit different from both engines, and that makes sense. But essentially, whatever you can do in Unity, you can literally do in Godot in here. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. And if you liked it, remember to subscribe, because I will be making many more videos about Godot, hopefully. And if you liked what you have seen, I'm actually currently building a game on the Unity game engine, and it's pretty much the final game I make on Unity game engine, so feel free to go ahead and wishlist it. I have spent far too long making it, and if you're interested, you can see my 7-year journey making Amira, which will be my final personal Unity project, that's for sure. Have a nice day everyone, and goodbye.